the major target for the North Vietnamese. The ambassador had the ultimate authority to order an evacuation. But after he consulted with the Air Force, it was decided to wait until the last possible moment.
They figured this operation was saving the lives of 2 or 3 pilots a day. That's what they said. And if you put the technicians up there, you're risking that number of technicians against, but if you stayed another month, if you're 2 or 3 a day, you're talking about a lot of pilots. It sounded to me like then it was worth taking some risks for.
As enemy forces surrounded the mountain, the frequency of skirmishes intensified. The Air Force technicians began to make plans to evacuate the site. But on the evening of March 10, 1968, Phu Pa Thi came under heavy artillery fire.
It was the first artillery attack I'd been in, and it was flat scary. And I'm sure those other guys that's out there defending the place, they thought, geez, what's going to happen? Are they going to come up the sides after us?
With the bombardment as a diversion, a well-trained group of North Vietnamese did what everyone thought was impossible. Scaling a 2,000-foot cliff, they took the technicians completely by surprise.
And then we heard the firing up on top there, small arms fire. And there's some bullets even zinging down around where we were. And we didn't know if that was friendlies or who it was, so we kind of snuck back in the bunker, you know, kind of looking around so we didn't have to get shot.
The attackers overran Site 85, killing 11 of the 18 men on duty.
We knew that something hit the fan, but nobody talked about any losses of any military up at the site. Everybody assumed that everybody got out. The pilots there was only one Air America pilot involved in it. He never said a word. And just like with my shoot down in the aircraft, I was told not to talk to anybody about it.
In a top-secret, now declassified cable to the State Department, U.S. Ambassador William Sullivan reported, "It appears we may have pushed our luck one day too long in attempting to keep this facility in operation."
They said, we'll do everything we can to get you out. Something like that, you know. But there's not really much they can do.
As the survivors were hastily airlifted away, another controversial decision was made.
The embassy panicked, and they issued the order that every American and every Thai had to be off of there by nightfall.
Fearing that Site 85 was in enemy hands, the Air Force bombed it to destroy all traces of the high-tech equipment. The result of the bombing? The bodies of the 11 dead Americans would never be recovered.
They were afraid the enemy's going to get this secret radar thing, so they came in and started bombing before we ever got the friendlies off. We had a lot of friendlies got hurt in that bombing.
It was the beginning of the end of the secret war, not only for the U.S., but for the CIA's fierce, faithful allies, the Hmong.
When Site 85 fell, there was a concerted effort by the North Vietnamese in the path at Laos to move the Hmong, chase them, kill them, whatever, out of the northeastern part of Laos and around Site 85, which they were bound and determined to control for the rest of the war.
Only 4 months after the fall of Phu Pa Thi, Bill Lair requested a transfer out of Laos.
There wasn't anything I could do that would help the situation. You know, I found other reasons to leave, but that's basically why I did leave. I just didn't want to, I never liked funerals, and I didn't want to preside at another one.
He was very disillusioned at the fact that we couldn't continue to support the Hmong, whom we had mobilized and who had worked so hard for us during most of this war.
Lair accepted a CIA desk job in Washington, but before leaving, he urged his old friend Vang Pao to move to Thailand before things got any worse.
And I said, the Americans are going to leave here one of these days. You can go over there and survive. Oh yeah, I've got to do that, but he never quite got around to it, you know what I mean? He'd say, but, because he didn't really think they'd leave.
In April of 1975, after the fall of Saigon, the American military machine finally left Southeast Asia. Ironically, Bill Lair returned to coordinate the evacuation of 12,000 Hmong to refugee camps in Thailand. General Vang Pao was among the refugees. The general, as he's still called by his followers, later emigrated to the United States, along with thousands of his people. Today, Laotian War veterans still gather here in the U.S. to honor the memory of those who died in their struggle with the communists. Recently, Bill Lair was a special guest at one of their events. They wanted to thank him for his contributions to their fight to liberate their country. Lair mingled easily with his old friends, trading greetings in their native language.
I meet with Hmong today all the time, and some of the old ones who were there the first day I went up there, they've never forgotten that. They think that's the greatest day in their history. Even though they lost people and they went through hardships, in that short period of time, they probably advanced 200 or 300 years.
In their monumental struggle during the Laotian conflict, an estimated 30,000 Hmong died. Their sacrifice was honored by the United States in May of 1997 at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington. For the first time, the U.S. government publicly acknowledged the Hmong's participation in the war against communism in Southeast Asia. It was the final chapter of Operation Momentum and the CIA's secret war in Laos.